the same roads every day. We both get there our own way. Thistle and an apple tree, how different two souls can be. But we both grow from the same.
Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It is Sunday, June 30th, 2024, last day of June. So the next video you see will probably be the honey harvest. So a lot of things have gone on since the last video. You saw me with the queens, the Wildflower Meadow queens, installing those, going back, checking on them. They've been released, everything looked good. The sticky queen looked okay. A lot of people put in, not a lot, but a few people put in comments as you need to check those queens because they may be bad. And here's what happened. When I opened the box, I could see where the candy in the queen cages had been melted and some of it ran out, and one of the cages was pretty close to, they were about ready to release because it was very thin. There wasn't much left there. And so they had gotten really hot, and no fault of Wildflower Meadows. They were great. So the fault lies in with UPS and their next day air. And they were supposed to call me the next day. They didn't call me, email me, text me, and I didn't get down there until 2 days after. So I don't know when they got hot. So it might be my fault, I don't know. Anyway, I went and checked these queens, like some people said, and the one in the Aame box, the sticky queen, she was gone. Nowhere to be found in there. She had laid a little bit on one frame, and they had started supersedure cells already. So she was gone, and they were checked out. So I went to the other two hives where they had released in the cages, nowhere to be found, and they had laid just a little bit, just like the sticky queen. So what happened is the queens survive the heat, but they go bad real shortly. Their queen parts don't work right when they get hot like that, is what people said, and they just fail. And that's exactly what happened. All three of them did. So that was Sunday. I checked them. Monday morning I emailed Wildflower Meadows, and they answered me right away and said, we'll get you 3 queens on the next shipment, which was the next day, Tuesday. They gave me a coupon code for a free replacement, and they sent me 3. And they were here Wednesday. Wednesday morning I had a doctor appointment. I went and did that. When I was done with that, I went to UPS and got them right away, and I brought them out here and installed them. So in the Aame hive, hive 10, the sticky queen hive, I tore down the supersedure cells and left them. The other 2 hives, they had supersedure cells, I'm sorry, emergency queen cells is what they were. They had emergency queen cells to replace the queen that just failed. And so I left those 2 hives, and I created 2 queenless hives and put them in those. So my hive count plussed up 2 again. So I think I was counting a while ago, I think I'm at 37. So, and that's 7 too many, which they'll reduce here going into the fall. I'll lose some more. I did lose 1 hive. It was a really strong hive. I'm not sure what happened. And I didn't see signs of varroa, but they had swarmed. There was some swarm cells still in there, and it was being robbed out, but the swarm cells had emerged. I see where they had swarmed, and it was a big, strong hive. And a couple videos back, I showed where I'd started some robbing, and it's the hive that had a blue box on it. And if you look at it, it's all bearded out front. It looked fine. So, and all of a sudden, it's being robbed out. So that's what happens when you're a beekeeper. Beekeeping happens, and strange things like that happen. So they may have had a varroa infestation. I didn't look real close at the frames, but I didn't see the white dots of varroa excrement in there. So this is a time of year after the solstice when beekeeping becomes more difficult. Things like that happen. You need to be paying attention to pests. Small hive beetles, are you getting too many of those in there if your hive's not very strong? Varroa, you need to be treating for varroa pretty quick if you haven't yet. Up north, it's probably better. I don't think you have as many varroa up north. But After you get the honey off of there, if you're in my latitude, central Oklahoma, you need to be treating for mites right away. So, and I did see a few mites when I was doing swarm cell checks earlier this spring. In some of my drone brood, there were 2 hives. I did see just a few, but not very many. But if you see a few, there's going to be a lot. That's how it works. So let's get in. I'm going to follow up on these queens the second round and see how they're doing. And the Aame hive, I transferred it into a 10 frame. So it'll be a 10 frame deep instead of that plastic Aame hive. So let's get in there and check those out and see how they're doing. And if I find some other queens, I might do some marking today. There's a cold front to the north of me about 55, 60 miles. And there's rain storms all up to the north of me. And it's sitting there kind of stationary. It's slowly moving this way. So, and there's like flash flood warnings up there too in northern Oklahoma. So it's pretty nice out. It's about 78 degrees, but there's absolutely no wind. Got my little fans. These are under $10 now. So get you some if you haven't. On these days like today when it's super calm, they really help keep you cool. I'll put a link below to them. They work great, and they run a long time. I'm really surprised how long they run. So let's get in there, and I'm going to check at least these 3 hives, and we might mark a few queens. Let's get going. Okay, here's hive 10. It's in a 10 frame deep now, and I had a entrance reducer on there and also put that brick on there, so all they have to defend is that little bitty hole right there. And I'm not seeing a lot of activity around here. I did boost the population up on this a little bit. My daughter had bees in her water meter, and just to the south of me, and I went and got those out of there, and they were queenless. So it was a little queenless hive, and there was probably 3 small combs of bees in there, and I didn't rubber band the comb. It wasn't worth it. Then there was no brood. So I just shook those bees in here after that queen had failed. So that did boost this hive up just a little bit as far as population. Let's get in here and hopefully we'll find a green marked queen. Someone pointed out to me today, says, "Are you colorblind? That's not blue, that's green." But it looked blue to me, but yeah, he's right. Green is this year's color. But it did have a little bit of a blue tint to it. There's a couple of small hive beetles. Yeah, get out of there. There's another one. I didn't see a whole bunch just take off running. There's a 4th one. So not a bad population of bees right here. Looks okay. I mean, considering what it's been through. Do need to be getting these hives stronger. And that's not strong enough to go into winter. So need to get this queen a laying, get them some population, and get this spread on out to 10 frames. And they need to be building up some winter stores to get through winter. And we'll have this fall flow come up. It's not a big flow, but it's a flow. Oh, there's some beetles coming out of there. May need to put a beetle trap in here. So they got a little bit of liquid and pollen right there. Not starving out. Not seeing any more beetles. Got some liquid here, and I see evidence of a laying queen. We got very, very young larvae right there. And same on this side. And I see my queen running up this next frame. I'll go ahead and get it out. You can get a look at her. This is a Wildflower Meadows queen, number 2. Right there she is. Green dot. Man, she's got the move on. And in this center, these capped cells, now that's from her sister queen that failed, because she came in here and laid a little bit, and then she was done. Okay, I want to get my eye on her before I seal this up. Okay, she's down there on the bottom middle. No chance of squishing her. And get this back together. And we'll go on to the next hives. Next hives I'm a little concerned about because I pulled those splits and they didn't have time to sit. Normally you want your hive to be queenless at least for a day before you go adding a queen to it, but I just didn't have time, so I just went for it. I put the release cage in there, and I haven't even gone back to check that they're released. It's been so hot, I've been so busy, just things happen. All right, this is good to go. So after I get the honey harvested, as you can see, I got quite a few supers. Some have 3, quite a few have 2. Around the corner I've got quite a few. And that one I put a deep one for a super because I ran out of supers. Yeah, so we need to feed these. Once I get the honey harvested, I'll get some feed on here. So with the flow stopped, I do not want to put feed out here in danger of, you know, getting funny honey in my honey. All right. So these other 2 hives were right in here. This one right here, and they had emergency queen cells. So rather than tear those down in there, I thought I'll just leave that. And I can't remember which other hive I requeened over here, but 30 and 31 I think are the ones I'm going to get into. Yeah, they're with the brick, or 31, 32. Let me go get my notes. I think it's going to be this Aame and this one here, right here. So what I did, this is the evil queen from western Oklahoma. So I pulled her out and I actually marked her. And she's got a dark butt, hard to find. So I actually found her and moved her out. She's down there now. Let's figure out which 2 we're going to get in here. Okay, so I did verify. It's 31, 32, these 2 right here. See my fancy number tags that you can't read. So let's get in. And I lied to you. I did check for the release, and they were released on the 20th. And today's the 30th. So 10 days ago, I did release them. And this is the evil hive queen split from western Oklahoma. And they are in this Aame woodware conversion, which I really do like these. Thing I like about them the most is this feeder. The bottom board's cool. I mean, it's neat. Here's my 2 queen cages. I can't remember what I did 10 days ago. Ugh. Okay. So I have been feeding this hive some till the nectar flow slowed down. Then I quit because I don't want bees trying to get up in here and get this sugar water. And I've been feeding them so they draw this top deep out. I don't want to smoke this a whole lot because I can't just look for queen right hive. I have to actually see that queen, because I pulled a queen out of here. That was the evil queen. And I thought, well, I'll requeen this evil hive split with a Wildflower Meadows queen, and it might help calm the genetics down some here. Which you can see, they're not so bad. So I've got honey, 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 blank, 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 blank. I would bet you anything that there's no queen activity up here. I'm going to pull a frame from right in here because these are blank, and that's a really thick, drawn out comb. See, they just haven't messed with this. And they had good wax on them too. Well, this one here's got a little bit they've drawn. I just haven't fed them enough to keep it going. Yeah, so that doesn't look bad. And they filled that with that's sugar water. Tell you what, I'm just going to pull this off, and I'm going to. There's no brood up here. There's nowhere a queen would be, unless maybe it's this frame right here. But I bet it's that's going to be all nectar. So we'll set this top box back here. I'm hoping for the fall flow that these bees will draw out these other 5 frames. Hopefully they still got enough wax on them that they'll work with them. Okay, a little bit of grumpiness. So my thought was releasing that queen with the queen cage right after I pulled their original pissy queen out of here and moved her out, that there would be time for them to acclimate to the new queen pheromone with the old queen being gone, that this would work out. It's not something I normally would probably want to do. I usually would want to run this hive queenless for at least 24 hours. There's some cat brood right there, and I do see eggs, so that tells me our new queen is laying. There's eggs right here. I'll go a few more frames. Yeah, there's eggs and very young larvae on here, which tells me this is the new queen, because it's been 10 days. You wouldn't see eggs if it's been queenless after 10 days. So we're in robbing season now, so I need to get me a newt box to put these frames I pull out and set them aside in, because the robbing starts pretty quick. So that day the robbing started, just to the left of me, that really strong hive, bees were lining up on the seams trying to get in the side of it, and I thought that was weird. I thought it was just because they were robbing that one frame that I set out, and that's the hive that actually failed. So that's a lesson learned for me. If I see bees trying to get in on the seam between the boxes and on a strong hive, there's probably something wrong in there. Something weird's going on, even though there was just robbing in general. I should have checked that hive. I might have been able to save it. So all this cat brood, that's evil pissy queen brood. Yeah, and she's gone in and backfilled here with eggs too. This is a good queen. If I could just spot her. I don't need to at this point, but I'd like to see her. It's a blank frame. This will probably be a pretty good hive next year. That fresh queen in there. Same thing, there's some pollen on here, but she's filled up any of the empty frames, empty cells. There's an egg or a larva in there. Same on this side. Boy, she just took over. Took over like a boss. Queen boss. Sure would like to see her. This is all pollen. This is laid up as well. This hive is going to have a strong population when going into the fall, which isn't the strongest flow, and you really don't want a huge population that time of year. So need to keep an eye on this. We're not going to find her. I've overlooked her. That or she's in that top. That little bit of smoke may have run her off. She might be on the bottom on the side wall. Drawing that one out. That's all liquid. Pretty decent frame here on the end. Take a look at it. Normally I wouldn't even bother looking for a queen out here unless I saw brood patterns headed this direction. That's heavy, heavy. Total liquid and capped. All right, well, we know she's in there, or there's a queen in there. I can't imagine, there's no way it could be another queen because I took the queen out, unless there were 2 queens in here. And I doubt that. Got some bees over here on the side I'm gonna scoop in. Just make sure there's not a queen over there. All right, let's get out of here. Yeah, check out these Aame wood box conversions. It's pretty neat. And if you want to move your hive, you just flip this up and latch it here, and it flips up right over these things here. It doesn't matter where you have it set. It's indented where it'll go over that, no problem. If you decide you want one, use my affiliate link if you would. I'd appreciate that. They haven't given me any discount codes yet. I don't know if they do. But yeah, I'm a Aame affiliate, and I'm going to see if they'll contribute to my giveaway that I do each year at my honey harvest. We'll have a contest where we guess the weight. So someone will win that, and then I usually have some vendors provide some giveaway stuff. Hilco usually provides something. Hive Alive always does. Hive Alive sent me 3 new hive tools. I'll put a picture of them in here. Pretty neat. Jason Crispin had some too. I was jealous, and then they sent me some, so I'm better now. Okay, let's get into this Aame nuke. So this nuke was a split I pulled. So this was a queenless split, and we put that queen in there. Yeah, we got less real estate to cover here, so we should find her. But I'm pretty sure I got all 7 frames in here, so it's a tight fit. I wish they had just about a 1/4 inch more of width on these. So you want to make sure when you're going to go for 7 frames in these that you have all the propolis cleaned off the sides of your frames, because there's no room, there's no extra space. Oh, I lied, I'm running 6. So like I was saying, if you're going to run 7, be sure your frames are scraped on the sides really good. Looks good so far. Yeah, so I got that old mean queen out of there. I actually grabbed her with these gloves on. I picked her up barehanded and marked her barehanded. I couldn't do that with beekeeping gloves. I could actually feel her. I could feel how much pressure I was putting on her. I had my pin all primed and ready, and it was easy peasy. And they weren't going crazy attacking me either. That makes a big difference. So I didn't even use my one-handed queen catcher that takes 3 hands to operate. So this is basically a food frame. Got pollen bee bread. Lots of pollen there. Hopefully I gave her some good frames to lay on. So here's some capped brood. That's from a prior queen. That's from the donor pulling the split. Oh, there she is right there. There she is with her green dot. Yeah, you got to admit, that does look a little bluish. Okay, let's get her back in there. Got my eyes on her. She's right there. Still see her. Get this frame up against there before she gets close to the side. We might need to give these a little bit of feed. Yeah, so something else you need to be paying attention to this time of year. Make sure your bees have a water source. If it's dry where you're at, they need water. They use the water, they bring it back, and that's how one way they keep their hives cool, that and fanning through the water evaporation. And they mix it with the pollen, bee bread, and nectar. Or pollen, they mix it with the nectar and the pollen, and they make bee bread with it to feed their larvae. And if they uncap honey, they'll use it to water down that honey and to feed their young, and to feed on themselves as well. So yeah, my bees found my chicken waterers, and they've been working on them hard. In fact, they will empty out a big black rubber bowl of water in a day. So I have to really watch that, because I usually don't water my chickens every day, but I have been, because the bees have been drinking all their water up. And I put a little stick in there so they don't drown. There's one particular bowl they like, and they get on that one, and it's under one of my redbud trees. It's in that chicken run. All right, I'm going to end it here so it's not too long. I'm going to hunt for some unmarked queens and try and get them marked and get caught up on my marking now that I got my new super power queen marking technique with my Thickster gloves. There's a link to these below. Some people ask, well, how thick are they? They're 14 mil, so that's really thick. The thickest nitrile gloves you'll buy at like a hardware store are going to be 9, and these are 13, 14. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, they're really thick. They're kind of like dishwashing gloves, but not quite that thick. You still have that dexterity. So, man, these are great. I love them. So, thanks so much to the guy that gave me that tip. I think it's been 2 years now I've been using these. This second year I've been using them. They're awesome. So check those out. Links are all down below to all that stuff. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, Wildflower Meadows queens came through. They shipped it. I told them about it. They shipped them the next day, which they ship on Tuesdays. So yeah, their queens are awesome and great customer service. They took care of it right away. And I'm sure they're going to be talking to UPS about, you know, don't set the queen package, you know, right next to the jet engine. It's a little warm right there, so that's not good for them. So give me a thumbs up on the video, and don't forget to subscribe on your way out. We'll catch you on the next beekeeping video, which should be pulling honey supers. Y'all take care.
Same old roots, but I can bend, turning to understand and sway together. Now it's almost like a dance, the rendering of stubbornness, and it just cuts us deeper through the long